today's episode of the Balancing Hormones Naturally podcast, where we offer actions and steps you can take today to start supporting and balancing your hormones. This is your podcast host, Leah Brueggemann. I am honored and excited to be your guide on your way to better understanding your hormone health and how it affects your everyday life. Hey ladies, what is going on? Still winter, still freezing. One of these days I'll just keep moving down south. I say keep moving because I'm actually originally from Michigan, and then I moved down south. But obviously not far enough because it's still cold here in the winter. Okay, tell me if you agree with this or not, but I think that after Christmas, winter should just go away. I probably just need to go live in a nice warm area and then visit somebody that lives in a cold area for Christmas. And that probably would be my best solution. One day. One of these days. All right, ladies. I really need to put somebody's picture up here while I'm podcasting because I get so bored talking to myself. So if I could put somebody's picture right up here and then I could just pretend that I'm talking to you, I feel like it would be more interesting, at least more interesting for me. We're talking all day today, well, for this podcast, about the importance of ovulation. I cannot stress how important ovulation is, even if you're not trying to have a baby. And I can see you. I see you going, I'm not trying to get pregnant, Leah, so why is it important that I'm ovulating? Ovulation is the main event of your cycle. Why? It's not your period. It's your ovulation. Because ovulation is what brings your period. Boom, bam, done. Okay? When you ovulate, your follicle releases the egg, and then that follicle forms what's called the corpus luteum, which produces progesterone. This is how you get progesterone. This is why if you're getting your hormones tested, you need to get your progesterone tested post-ovulation, right? Now, when your progesterone drops, this is what brings on your period. Okay, so if I'm having a period, I'm obviously ovulating. Not necessarily. You can actually have a period without ovulation. It's called a withdrawal bleed, or a breakthrough bleed. But I have seen multiple clients actually have breakthrough bleeds, regular breakthrough bleeds, withdrawal bleeds, and not ovulate. And a lot of times, I'll see this with women who have been trying to get pregnant for a really long time. And they're like, they never even thought they weren't ovulating because they were having a period. And then once you start tracking your cycle, you go, ooh, I'm not ovulating. I've seen this with women who have really painful periods, track their cycle, they're not ovulating. Okay? So the only way to know is to actually track your cycle, unless you want to go get an ultrasound and have your ovaries tracked before and after, you suspect ovulation. But you can track your cycle if you're getting that nice, beautiful temp rise. That's letting you know that you're ovulating because you're producing that progesterone, right? But why is it so important, okay? Your estrogen rising is what gives you your ovulation, right? Your estrogen has to rise to have an ovulation. So if you are not having that estrogen rise, you're not getting that ovulation, so many things are going on, okay? There's going to be issues with your endometrium, your uterine lining. There's going to be issues possibly with your bone health, okay? We need estrogen for bone health. If you aren't ovulating, you obviously are going to be ridiculously low in progesterone because ovulation is what helps you produce that progesterone. This is why ovulation is so important, okay? Whether or not you are trying to get pregnant. So, how do you know if you're ovulating? check with your temperature, okay? You will notice cervical mucus. You'll notice it starting pre-ovulation. This is good. You want cervical mucus. If you aren't creating cervical mucus, this is a red flag, okay? And then once you ovulate, your cervical mucus should dry up and your temp should rise. That is letting you know that you are ovulating, okay? Now, you have to remember, how do you get a good ovulation, right? How your body has to feel safe, has to feel nourished, okay? So if you aren't getting in enough nutrients, if you're not literally eating enough food, your body goes, oh, we totally could not sustain a pregnancy. We just need to sustain our life. Guess what they're going to shut down? They're going to shut down ovulation. If you are really, really stressed, a lot of times you'll have a delayed ovulation or an anovulatory cycle because your body goes, no, we really couldn't get pregnant. Life is a little bit too stressful right now. And it doesn't have to be you being chased by a bear for it to be a really stressful situation. Maybe that stress is from work. Maybe it's from your family life. Maybe it's from your friends. Okay. So this is another amazing thing that your cycle is telling you. It is literally your report card. It's literally your vital sign, your fifth vital sign that's letting you know how things are going with your cycle. Okay. That's why I love tracking your cycle and just understanding the signs, because let's say you don't have any cervical mucus. That's not a good sign, especially if later on you want to have a kid, you need that cervical mucus. It's also letting you know, oh, maybe you're low on estrogen. Maybe you're dehydrated. Maybe you're stressed. Maybe you are low in vitamin A. There's so many things that it could possibly be, but if you aren't paying attention to it, you're never going to know, okay? So what are some things that help with a really great ovulation? Carbs. Carbs help with a really great ovulation. Why? We need carbs to ovulate. And then secondly, you also need your thyroid hormone to ovulate, and your thyroid needs carbs to convert its inactive thyroid T4 to T3, the active thyroid hormone. So carbs are really, really important for a healthy ovulation, okay? Keeping your stress levels down. Some carbs that I absolutely love for this time leading into ovulation are gluten-free oats are some of my favorites. Sweet potatoes are another one. Regular potatoes are another one. Quinoa is another one. Those are, I would say, my top favorites pre-ovulation. They're so good. Okay, now I'm making myself hungry. But you also need all of your other nutrients too. You also need your protein. You also need your fat. I will say though that pre-ovulation, your body does digest carbs better. Okay, this is, like we said, pre-ovulation, you have more energy, you're more creative, you can, go for personal bests in the gym, all of that kind of stuff. But, that also includes eating carbs, you guys. You can't be doing all of this stuff and not eating good carbs, okay? So no low carb. Make sure you're getting your good carbs in. Make sure you're getting your oats in and your sweet potato and your quinoa and your rice and all of those good things, okay? So that you can have a good, healthy ovulation. And then when you have that good, healthy ovulation, your estrogen got up, which is a really good sign, okay? You ovulated, right? And now your body's going to produce some wonderful progesterone, okay? Then when that drops, your period's going to come. So I know you're asking this question in your head, and I will answer it for you. So if you are on the pill, you are not having an actual period. You're having a pill bleed or withdrawal bleed caused by the pill, because you aren't ovulating. The pill is suppressing your ovulation. So therefore, you are not having a period. You are using synthetic hormones that are suppressing your ovulation, so you're not having a period. Does that make sense? Okay? That's why a lot of times, I'm going to say it, and this is going to not make some people happy. So many times I see the combination of the pill with anxiety meds and depression meds, because you aren't ovulating and getting that lovely rush of your natural progesterone, and you're not getting all of those good serotonin feelings. And that the pill also really greatly compromises your gut microbiome, which is where so much of your serotonin is created. Okay. So this is not the podcast where we're going to talk about the pill. That can be a rant for a whole other podcast and the lack of awareness around that. But I just did want to bring up, because we were talking about ovulation, that you are not ovulating on the pill. And so if you are having a pill bleed, it's literally that. It's a pill bleed. It's not a period, because you are not ovulating. Okay. So good to know. So I hope that you all are taking your thermometers out. If not, if you don't remember how to track your cycle, go back and listen. I think it's episode 3 or 2. It's labeled how to track your cycle. You really can't miss it. And start seeing if you're ovulating, okay? And start eating those really good, healthy carbs to help have an amazing ovulation. And remember that you are digesting carbs so much better pre-ovulation. So enjoy them. Enjoy those amazing carbs for your thyroid health and for your hormone health. I literally want you to think, you guys, as you're eating your food, and just think about nourishing your body and nourishing your hormones and preparing for a healthy ovulation so you can create that amazing progesterone that keeps your estrogen in check. Okay? All right. I hope you have fun tracking your cycle. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Balancing Hormones Naturally. If you found this helpful, I would love for you to share it with a friend and post it on your stories and tag Balancing Hormones Naturally podcast so we can get this message out. You can find me on Instagram at Leah_BRUEG, and I would absolutely love to hear from you.